then your CV is not so good. So that I don't want to have a preconceived.
He could end up answering all the questions in one.
No.
But so please, whatever you do, let us see that monitor so that we can know when we're out there. Please. As long as you move the monitor this way.
Well, you can do your work, you still have 5 minutes.
No, today we won't be asking no kinds of nonsense.
Please off. Please move that. Let's see that monitor. Please see where we can see it.
So nobody's coming from there. Please, you have all the phones. You should stand by.
What already?
Online.
You know, you have to start with the Dakkada. Yes, I won't do the interview.
Yes. All right.
Just security. The rest of the staff. But once they shut the door, nobody's opening that door until they broke.
Don't worry, nobody can disturb me. We'll fix those things by tomorrow. The commission has to have a done to this. Okay, you can just leave the folder here. No, leave the folder here. You can go. You don't need to come up with this thing. You go.
The door should not be open for anyone.
Okay. Stand by, students. Sometimes this cup should be closer to me. Then follow us. Hello there, wherever you're watching us from and wherever you are listening to us from. And for our brothers and sisters across the world, I know that you can join us directly on the social media platforms. You are onto a special program. This program is on the, I call it the Global Network. We are the NTLU, AKB's Television, AKB's Radio, Planet Radio, and of course, RCN here in Udom. We are privileged to play host to a gentleman of honor. One gentleman who through hard work, integrity, and all that is good, the positive values of Akwa Ibom State, rose through the ranks in the corporate world, an expert in the art of corporate governance. He did so well, and because he did so well, God found him and presented him to our Akwa Ibom people. He came in at the time that the people needed him most. After all, an Italian proverb says, there must be a right man for the right time. The gentleman we are referring to is not just a right man for the right time. His name is also Mr. Right. There are so many things in a name. At a time like this in Nigeria, at a time like this in Akwa Ibom State, God knew better for us. And so he designed for us Mr. Udom Emmanuel. You recall that over the last 1 or so years, a man had gone through the nooks and crannies of Akwa Ibom State asking the people to share in his vision and vote for him so they can bring about sustainable development of Akwa Ibom State. And more so, coming from the background of the uncommon transformation of his predecessor in office. Here is one gentleman who has done so much within the last 6 months in office. Just earlier today, he addressed the state and told the state and Nigerians about the monumental strides he has recorded within just 6 months in office. As we say in my local Biwa language, Kiet Anemtem Bariba. 6 months into the tenure, Akwa Ibom people are already smiling. What will it look like in the next 4 years and in the next 8 years? We are privileged to host His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Mr. Udom Emmanuel, who is here to address his brothers and sisters in Akwa Ibom State, those at home and those in the diaspora, about his policy thoughts, about what he has achieved for the state these last 6 months, and his focus for the state in the years to come. Your Excellency, it is a privilege to have you on the program. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. Good evening, Akwa Ibom people. Good evening, Nigerians.
Excellency, because of the significance and the importance of this program, mostly because you are one person who believes that the women of Akwa Ibom State must be given proper place in the scheme of things. I'm not here alone. We have to balance the question. My colleague Miraboko is also here to ask you all the important questions Akwa Ibom people will want to hear.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, Muriel.
Congratulations, sir. Welcome to the program. Miraboko, can you fire the face?
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for recognizing the women and for giving us a place in governance too. I must commend you. Well, it's almost belated to say congratulations, but I'm sure it's not out of place to do that now. 6 months down the line, you've been through the campaigns, going through the 31 local government areas of the state that concluded. The elections have taken place, and here you are seated as the governor of Akwa Ibom State. Now, there are three things rather we would like to look to start from. One, your campaign slogan says divine mandate. Secondly, your name is Emmanuel. Emmanuel means God with us, and we know that the scripture says the government shall be upon his shoulder. And thirdly, sir, your name is Udom, Mr. Right. So if I put 1, 2, 3 together, and I have 3 there, would it be out of place to ask what prompted you in choosing the divine mandate as your campaign slogan? And secondly, sir, how well have these names worked out for you?
Thank you, Miriam. Once again, thank you, Nigerians. Thank you, Akwa Ibom people. I know within this program, if I go on the significance of a name, I might take you up to 2-3 hours in explaining that. But let me say something here. There's so much significance about a name. If I draw the inspiration, because based on what you've put together, you started with the right, Mr. Right, Udom, meaning that even God himself, when Jesus Christ ascended, he said, come and sit at my right hand. So whoever is at the right hand of God is on the right side. You talked about Emmanuel, God with us. You talked about divine mandate. Let me say something about power and governance. I don't know, it is only in this part of the world that you separate governance from, let me say, an act of God or religion. Even Americans, you see, how did they come about to say that, you know, they put God in whatsoever they do? It came up with, you know, bringing God into governance. So when we came up with an issue of divine mandate, we drew an inspiration from, because whoever becomes a governor of Akwa Ibom State is already anointed by God. If we go back to Bible, you know, Acts of the Apostles says, he said, God who anointed Jesus Christ with Holy Spirit and with power. So what is that power? It's the seat that I'm sitting today. So that anointing draws up, comes up, and there's so much significance in, you know, trying to bring God into governance, because we can't separate that. Americans started by saying, in God we trust. And today you see where they are. I can go on and on and on and on. So there's so much significance in a name that actually played out in terms of governance. So coming in our own case, we said no, that no man can take power on his own. That David said to him, once have you spoken, twice have I heard. Which means he heard in the physical, he heard in the spiritual. And he said power belong, which means that not just one. Short of him saying all powers belong. He said power belong, if you check very well. I follow through the use of words and phrases in the Bible. It said power belong, which means that all. So in this case, we are coming into power. We are saying, look, not by our own power, not by our might. We are coming with that anointing. We're coming with fresh anointing. We are coming with God. We cannot separate God from governance. That we look forward to God. That the people that went ahead of us put God first and said, in God we trust. And today they are ruling the world. And a state that is only named after God, the only state in the whole world named after God, cannot actually separate God from governance. So we see every step we take as an act of God. Every move that we make is actually destined by God. So that's what actually gave us the inspiration that, look, a step forward, a step we are moving to take Akwa to the next level, a step we are moving to actually bring our people out towards that march into the promised land cannot be an ordinary step except a divine move of God. That's what actually prompted the divine mandate.
And now, Your Excellency, as a follow-up, you know, your initiative, the Dakkada initiative, according to people quite appreciate, so much appreciate this initiative as a social re-engineering to take us to where we should be morally and spiritually. This has done so much for the people. What prompted you? What prompted you to initiate this philosophy? And what's your assessment of this project so far? How has it succeeded in achieving your set goals with the initiative?
Dakkada cannot be measured between September 23 and today. But you can actually assess the impact. If you assess the impact, you will see that it was an inspiration from God. That look, even when Isaiah wanted to speak to the people, it got to a point that Isaiah could see what others could not see. That is one gift God will give to any leader. You see ahead of what others see. And then what do we see? We see a situation where God is telling us as a people. He said, these are my people. These are peculiar people. These are people after my heart. And you see, even if you come back to the book of Hebrews, God even warned people. He said, look, do not be slothful. So what are we telling our people? He said, look, God is there for you. It is already written. He said, God who has blessed us with all spiritual blessings in heavenly places. How come we don't enter in? So it's now left for us. God has done his own. So we are now coming up with a philosophy, with a social rebirth, reorientation of people's mind. That look, where you are today is not where you're supposed to be. That what you have is all that you need to be at where God wanted you to be. That the issue is with you and no longer with God. And also as an individual, let me say something here. Every single person, what you have is all that you need to take you to your destiny. But you must rise. Isaiah saw this, he came up in Isaiah, he said, look, arise and shine, for thy light is come. The glory of God is already upon you. I came up during my campaign. I said so that I was so passionate. During campaign time, even at 2 p.m., you see a whole lot of young men and women coming up. I could see people who had actually been born up to 35 years. They've never worked. They've never actually earned a living. I said, no. Can we change the style? Can we now move from begging for a living to earning a living? Can you relaunch something in the minds of the people? Can you recreate that passion? Can you recreate that thing that can make people realize their potentials? These are people that are so gifted by God, but they know a little bit of prompting. And it's not just today, it's always been there. Somebody must always prompt somebody. Something must prompt you out of bed. So that's why we came and we said, look, Akwa Ibom people are destined for greatness. This is still created by God to be great. Few things are there that block us. It's always there. You know, Paul Apostle says, look, a effectual and a fervent door is open unto me. But he said there are adversaries. So what are we saying today? We came up with those things. He said, look, those adversaries, you can actually rise above them, which are, you know, religion, ethnicity, biases, that you are even more than what others see. Rise above it, both human, intellectual. Akwa Ibom is destined to be great. And we want to see, we want to chart a new course, not just even for ourselves, even for generations yet unborn. We want to see how we rise to that faith of greatness. That a state created by God to be great, people must rise up. Definitely, people should also know, you see, the days of manna is gone past. This is the day of tilling the land. After manna, people had to move into promised land. And when they move into promised land, they did not just throw their hands. Manna ceased the day they entered promised land. People had to work to till the land for, you know, an increase and prosperity to actually flourish. So that's what we are saying. So people, you've moved. The days of manna is no more. We are already in the promised land. Can we begin to rise and occupy this land? Can we begin to enjoy the fruit of the land? The land is already flowing with milk and honey. Rise to that faith of that greatness. And you can actually see what that has brought. Congratulations to all Akwa Ibom people holding up here FA Cup that had never, underlined, from independence till today, no governor in this part of the country had ever touched an FA Cup live. This is the first time. This shows to you the direction. This shows to you the endorsement of God over where we are and where we are going to. This shows, again, with what we are talking about, the name that God is with us. Yeah. This shows a sign of good things to come. And how did it come about? We came up with the philosophy. We call our guys and say, look, rise above that near success syndrome. You can't come this far and then let victory go. It's not part of what God made of Akwa Ibom people. Once you're there, brace the tape, get the victory, and then come back smiling. That success has so many friends. Failure is an orphan, and we can never be a failure. You need to know how much talking to the minds of people can make people, because you need to let people know that determination is victory. In our Dakkada riders, we keep saying so. He said, once the passion is right, nothing is impossible. And here we have something to show for it. Once again, congratulations. I think that's the direction.
Let me follow up with Akwa United. You know, I recall that after Akwa United won that match, I asked your commissioner for information. This governor, has he been a football coach before? I saw the way you spoke to these players. I saw a Jose Moreno, for instance. I saw an Azim Wenger combined speaking. Have you ever thought of taking a career in coaching? Or have you been wrong before? Because the way you motivated the players, everybody in this has agreed that that pep talk you had with the players went a long way in motivating these players. Let me say, that be correct to say, it's as a coach.
Certainly no. I wasn't the coach. I can't tell. I wasn't even in the technical crew. But let me say something that
that 1 minute or whether 5 minutes you had with the players.
Let me say something here, which I try to let the young men understand. The power of the spoken word. I spent time with them the Thursday before they traveled to Lagos for the match. Why did I have to do that? Because I keep drawing, you see, I keep saying so the best leadership book on planet Earth is the Holy Bible. And I keep telling people, go back to Holy Bible. You check through, you won't see, oh, this is an altar, this is a tabernacle, this is a temple Moses built. No, not at all. What did Moses do? Moses was a motivational speaker. He could carry along with the people. People could, flow along with him. He could do great things once he's able to speak to the people. That's why in the Old Testament, you have series of the books of Moses. Those are words he spoke to the people. That's why you can see that Moses was only busy fighting battle of himself, not battle of the people. Because you see, he had so much. Coming back to our people, I'm not a coach. I can't claim what, I didn't play. I wasn't the technical advisor, but I just know that one thing I know God has given me, I'm a motivational speaker. This I've done over the years. It's like somebody telling you, are you a teacher? Every single human being on earth is a teacher. If you're not a teacher, you have not imparted humanity. You've not. So, I know I'm a motivational speaker. And I know also, if you come back and look gospel, the Baptist tells me that, look, I will give you a mouth and a wisdom where none of your vessels shall be able to gainsay nor withstand. It's a sign of a spoken word, of a motivational words that come out of you. It's a gift. So I knew the boys could beat me in the field. They could play better than I do, but I knew also I had something I could add at that point in time. So we get into the banquet hall. We start with the technical team. So look, let's review, let's redefine, let's reappraise. Where are we? What is ahead of us? 90 minutes could define a whole generation. 90 minutes could mean a whole lot to even generations yet unborn. 90 minutes could determine between you smiling and crying. 90 minutes is a whole lot. Yeah. So why can't I spend my own 90 minutes ahead of 90 minutes in the pitch? So that's exactly what we did. So we went through it together with the guys. I told them, look, we reviewed a few things. I said, no, shape up your mind. Rise from your mindset into your physical strength, into your psyche, and then get into the pitch. And a lot could be done. And also pointing out to them that, look, this is you're doing not only for me as a governor, not only for Akwa people, also for yourself. Today, each and every one of them had engraved their names in history as the first set of players to have ever brought FA Cup to this part of the world. And I also believe in a little way, having time. And we also observed immediately the referee blew for half time. I found myself in the dressing room immediately. Because I also needed, at that point, there were one goal ahead. I also needed to ensure that we keep the mindset still on this cup. And that mindset is what could determine our consolidation of our position. And that consolidation brought about the second goal. Yeah. I don't criticize. We saw a few things that happened after the second goal. But I so much praise them they were able to hold on to that victory. And that took us to where we are today. But the question you also need to find out is, this is a team that was already battling the relegation waters. Yeah. How come all of a sudden they sprang to life? It shows the power of the spoken word. It shows the power in leadership. But let me also warn on certain things. Today when we were doing the youth prayer meeting, something came up about Nehemiah. You see, even when Nehemiah finished building in 52 days, even those that came to see, they're supposed to be happy with him. The Bible says that they were not happy, they were disheartened. So we also be mindful that success, fine, is sweet. It has a whole lot of friends. But never say that success will give you 100% of friendship. It also shows that even when you succeed, there will be some rantings. I'm sure you've heard all kinds of, people who are total failure in life, who are sitting cheap in radio to also say all kinds of things. Those are the Sambalat in the Bible, who are always against the rebuilding. Yeah. So they were there right from the days of Nehemiah. So that's why I use this platform also to tell people that don't mind them. We are on a mission, we are on a good cause, we are moving to victory, we are already in the promised land. We must rise and occupy the land of greatness. We must rise as people to actually get what God had destined for us.
Thank you, Excellency. And at least we are sure this is real.
No, you're free to touch. No, you're free to touch. It's live.
This is real.
You're free to touch. All right, for those who are just joining us, is a live media chat with the Executive Governor of Akwa Ibom State, His Excellency Udom Emmanuel. He's right here in the studio live, telling you what I think you need to hear, and willing to also answer all of the questions that will come your way. All right, Your Excellency, every time you have to talk, the God consciousness in you plays out very often. In fact, most often it does. I wish we had all the time. Would have loved to ask the role of Christianity or religion in politics, but we do not have time for that, probably towards the end of the program, Your Excellency. Let's move ahead now.
but I think I touched on that. Yes. Okay. I say that you'll be doing your people, you'll be heading them towards doom. The day you separate God from governance.
No, I had to ask that question because a lot of people believe that no good Christian can be a good politician.
Yes, and not a governor cannot be a Christian, for instance.
You see, few things guide our human existence. Either management principle or spiritual, let me call it spiritual guidance. And if you check the two, I've checked all through management books on planet Earth that I've read. It's not written anywhere. I've checked through the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. It's not written anywhere. So whoever plucked that from somewhere is just a man's mind. Yeah. So it's not guided, it's not backed up by anything. So it can easily be thrown away. It's not recorded anywhere that you cannot be a Christian and also be a politician. It's not written anywhere. You can't separate governance from God.
All right, thank God it's working after all. All right, Your Excellency, we'll now move ahead to the Electoral Petition Tribunals just ended in Abuja. The result shows that some of the local government areas elections were cancelled there. First, Your Excellency, I know a lot of people went out against all odds to cast their votes on that day, against the odds of violence and all of that. They went out to cast their votes for you, going by the election results. And now the elections have been cancelled in most of the local government areas. The question on the minds of these people, and those who may not have voted for you, but may have fallen in love with you, probably because of what they have seen you do in 6 months, the question now is, are we expecting a rerun?
As a human being, my first answer, they will say no. Why do we say no? Is because if you look at a country like Nigeria, I hold judiciary in very high esteem. And that's why they set up those stages. It's like for you to actually call yourself an expert, you must go through different institutions. So they are actually putting this thing through, let me call it refiner's fire. The junior court tried it. They gave their own aspects of what they think. And that's why we have the appellate courts. So, but looking at the fact that, as of today, if you want to play back elections in all, I think we had elections either 21 or 30 or 31 states on that same day. You want to play back elections that were held across the country. Believe me, in terms of best of it all, Akwa Ibom will come among the first 3 that had one of the best elections on that day. Because we were actually the weeping child. Mind you, at that point, everything, was against us. But in spite of that, our people went out, casted their votes because they were looking at the divine mandate. But now we've listened to the junior court. The appellate courts are still there, which we've approached. We've appealed the case. But I want to let Akwa Ibom people know, I came here so passionate to serve my people, rising above all things within what human beings could think. We are here and I've offered myself to serve our people. And I want to believe the people will see that passion in me. And I also want to say here, I have so much confidence in my people, the Akwa Ibom people. Because you see, today, I keep telling them, And they are aware, the youths, the women, the men, all of them are aware that if, as of today, if you go to Qatar, see how it had turned out to be. Go to Singapore. Singapore was a slum. It took just one man. And you see, in a generation, God never asked for two men. He asked for only one man who will be so passionate about the people. The difference between and what will make the people anytime, any day go with us is, you see, the divine mandate is a movement. It's a movement that is so passionate about the people. It's a movement that wants to breed a crop of selfless individuals that can be after the people, that will think about that little child who goes to school in the morning, who never had ogi to drink, that will be thinking about that young man who is up to 35 years, he had never worked in his life, he had never earned a living. We'll be thinking about those people. Take, for example, what divine mandate is trying to actually unfold. Even, we'll get to what we are trying to do in terms of housekeeping. So, I don't want to actually comment about the judiciary, because I have utmost respect for the judiciary. But I just hope in me, as a believer in the divine mandate, I'm going by what and how elections were held all over the country. I believe there should not be a rerun of any election, because we had one of the best elections in this part of the world. I don't want to join issues with what people are saying. I just look forward. I keep saying so, even right from the campaign days, I say it is forward ever, backward never. So forward, we are here to serve our people. We are on course. That's why you don't see us being distracted. We are executing our blueprint every minute. Even the day we came back from the tribunal judgment, when I addressed my people, you could see the crowd. You can't beat that anywhere. People just talk. That wasn't a higher, never. You see, people are passionate. Look, people are saying, you see, the youths are coming up. They are calling me, say, you promise us, we are following you. You are a leader. We want you to lead us to that place. We don't want to beg for a living. We want to earn a living. And I'm telling them, I'm here to provide for you that leadership. And I will do it. And we will get there. So there's no gainsaying in so much of the ranting that people are making. But I'm just believing, as far as the problem is concerned, do election 10 times. With the divine mandate, PDP will win 10 times. Yeah. People are following the mandate, irrespective of what name you call any party. For today, the divine mandate of Akwa Ibom is in the hands of PDP. People will follow. And I can see that passion with all amount of seriousness in our people. So they are with us. So I don't want them to be distracted. We are here to serve. We want to serve our people and serve them selflessly and passionately.
So there's no cause for alarm?
No, not at all.
Okay, let's talk about some of the policies of your administration. Let's look at the personal income tax issue. You know that there have been a lot of contentions about this issue. Some people have even alleged that Governor Udom Emmanuel has slashed the salaries of civil servants in the state by 50%. We now have the opportunity, particularly, I want to invite all civil servants, I'll come close now. This is directly from the governor. Mr. Governor, sir, why did you slash that salary by 50%?
Thank you, James. People, I'm happy once again. This is not the first time, not the second, not the third. I'm explaining the issue of payee. Let me start by first of all appealing to the civil servants. Even when they were enjoying tax rebate, the past administration put it expressly to them that it is not to infinitum. You see, there are some days you will enjoy certain things. It's a subsidy. It doesn't last forever. It gets to a time the subsidy ends and then you face reality. But let me say something here. Even the tax schedule we are implementing today is not even a full-fledged PITA, that's Personal Income Tax Act. The schedule we are implementing today is 2011 schedule. You can imagine how many years we are behind, almost 5 years behind. Why are we doing that? Because you see, we didn't want the burden to be so much on the people. And today, I'm saying this and I'm quoting verbatim. I have somebody, mind you, you see, the salary of an Akwa Ibom civil servant is also one of the best in the country. Even in the Bible, people pay tax. I have not seen anywhere on earth that, tax is forbidden. That is why they call it pay as you earn. It is based on what you earn that you pay. But do you know one thing that will shock you? When I reviewed even the implementation, I could see that even the people that cry most are the people that their effective tax rate is just about 8%. Let me give you an example. Somebody teaches in one of the tertiary institutions. I asked the person how much was the salary. He said she was earning almost 400,000. How much was your tax? 29,000 naira. I asked the person, assuming you were working in the private sector, ask your friends, ask your colleagues, even let's start with the consultant, those who are working, say, in KPMG, with 400,000 naira income, how much will be the tax? Ask those who are working in mobile, with 400,000 naira income, how much will be the tax? Ask all those working in the private sector, everywhere, how much do you think will be the tax? So, for people to obey the law, tax is a law. I didn't set up the law. The only thing we did was, we say, okay, to already, reduce this issue of reduction of, and I'm surprised that somebody who had been so educated, who could rise to that level that could earn that such amount of money, will see a tax line in his pay slip and call it salary reduction. Certainly no. And just let me point out something. In the whole country today, even in the private sector, I can beat my chest to say that as a Akwa Ibom, we are one of the very first to pay 2015 leave allowance to civil servants. Even in the private sector, leave allowance is earned much in arrears. You must have finished 2015 before you start applying for your leave allowance of 2015 with pay. But at the same time, it's a law. And let me also say something. The day I addressed labor, I've spoken to different, labor groups about this issue of Personal Income Tax Act. And I told them, I said, look, let me not please 80-something thousand people and mortgage the future of 6.2 million people. So obeying the law is part of transparency in governance. Let me repeat that. Obeying the law is part of transparency in governance. You're approaching the world that you uphold the tenets of, corporate governance anywhere you are. Good governance, accountability. So the accountability and good governance also comes up with how do you actually manage and administer your internally generated revenue. And today, even as a state, we are about approaching different multilateral organizations about, some of the support, the grants, and so on that we need to. So part of those things that we need to show these people are what are the pillars of your good governance. Internally generated revenue, how much do you keep to the law, what do you do? So these are most of those things that you must showcase. So, and if you showcase this and show that your government is accountable, is transparent, and it upholds the rule of law, you can actually attract a whole lot. The question now is, whatsoever we attract as government should benefit 6.2 million people. But whatsoever these people are gaining, in civil service, the incremental income in civil service, when I check with the accountant general, if the figure is wrong, it's not from me, it's from accountant general. When he checked, the incremental was only 64 million naira. 64 million naira cannot even provide lights for 1 month in about 2 streets in Uyo. But it's not an issue of the figure, it's a matter of principle of good governance and accountability, because we are taking our people to the outside world. We are trying to approach other institutions that, look, the grants others are enjoying, don't look at us as we are such a rich state. Now oil prices are about $40 and we are not even selling the quantity that we were selling. Our revenue as of today, Akwa Ibom State is earning about 20% of what they used to earn. 20% of what they used to earn. And meanwhile, the expenditure pattern that we are carrying today is an expenditure pattern when the oil price was $140 per barrel. So how can you now carry expenditure pattern, even a rising expenditure pattern, because you see, we've hired more people. How can you carry expenditure pattern when the oil price was $140 and superimpose on when the revenue is at $40 a barrel? And meanwhile, we've not fired even a single person. We are still paying on time. We are still meeting up our obligations and still also keeping to other social responsibility and all civil responsibility of government. My brothers and sisters, it takes a very prudent, exposed, and a governor who knows how to manage resources to manage the critical period that we are in right now. It's not only Nigeria, it takes across the world. Today, I don't want to bore you with management and economics, but if I take you around the world, there are a lot of multinational companies in Africa today who are either downsizing. Let me even say something. It's not even only in Africa. If you watch business news, big companies that even manufacture aeroplane engines, Rolls-Royce, you could see in their plan, short-term plan, that will take them into 2016, 2017, you could hear the amount of job cuts that they want to do because of the economy. Who could actually think that Rolls-Royce will be downsizing? You see, it's a cycle. It happens like this. It happened during the financial meltdown in 2008, but it wasn't this severe. Because at that point in time, the oil price was still there to cushion the impact of the financial meltdown. But today, the oil price is $40. So people need to come to the realization that at this point in time, we want to show the outside world that we are transparent, we are accountable. And you can't do that without accounting for your internally generated revenue. And even to cushion that effect, that's why I'm telling you that we are implementing 2011 schedule. We've not even touched the current schedule. And we are not even ready to touch it. Because we just want to show the outside world that, look, we are responsible, we are accountable, and we uphold those tenets of that transparent and accountable government so that we can actually approach other multilateral institutions, NGOs, to actually also support us. I don't want to mention the names of the state. Today, there are some states in this country that the amount of money they've enjoyed from World Bank on their water scheme is humongous sums of money. And here we are still drinking borehole that is only 80 feet deep. If you drink a borehole of 80 feet deep, my brother, you're drinking iron. Most of the heart diseases that people experience today is because of water. So we can also approach these people, come and help us, because you see, for you to have a good potable drinking water, you've seen we've actually reactivated most of the water schemes and done some reticulation right now. Those ones like the one we did at Iduran or Ito here, and we're actually working on the one now at the Tanzania, which is the biggest. The borehole that we're using to actually fetch that water is 500 feet deep. All the shallow boreholes you see people selling water, tankers moving up and down, is 80 feet deep. Contains so much iron. And if you get to that place, see the kind of facilities we are putting to actually take out the iron from that water. That's why when we finish, we put up water kiosk in some place so that if you fetch that water, get into the lab. Pick any of these things you call pure water, get into the lab, see which one is purer. We have fresh and pure water. And there are some states I know in this country that have enjoyed so much of support in terms of that fresh water, but we've not enjoyed it. And this is what I need to bring back to my people. I also need similar support to actually get my people to have fresh water to drink and also do a lot of housekeeping facilities. So back to the tax again. The tax here, incremental from Nigeria is only 64 million naira. I cannot sacrifice the benefits of 6.2 million people because of just 80,000 people are enjoying 64 million naira. Come on. Please, fairness, justice, equity demands, I govern in a transparent and accountable manner. And I plead for the understanding of our Akwa Ibom people that even the subsidy that they were enjoying cannot be to infinity. Yeah. It must end somewhere. That let them understand with us that as of today, normally, if you look at the law, Personal Income Tax Act, if you do not claim all those things, it can actually take you to 23-26% effective tax rate. But we are just running between 8 and 10%. You can imagine we are still subsidizing between 13 and 16% of the effective tax rate that they're supposed to pay. Thank you. I needed time to explain this.
All right, Your Excellency, I was actually talking with somebody on this very issue, personal income tax, and I asked him, I said, I wish I had the opportunity of talking with the governor of Akwa Ibom State. I would ask him one question, and now that I have the privilege of having you here, so how did you summon the courage to implement these that some governments have shied away from?
No government had ever shied away from implementing taxes. Not even one. Let me point out something today, and you can quote me anywhere. There is no state government in Africa today, quote me anywhere, and investigate, no state government in Africa today that they are not paying payee. Not even one. In Nigeria, out of the 36 states, we happen to have been the only state that we were not paying. You see, that's why I said so. I said, once you enter the promised land, manna will cease. And we can actually see, look at, in the days of when we were, through the desert, that manna was falling. All prices Actually, between $128 per barrel to $140. Today, we're in the promised land as Akwa Ibom people. All prices dropped to $40 a barrel, and even with that, we're not even getting buyers. So it shows that the days of manna had gone past. As I explained, we have to come back and assess, is 64 million naira what I need to use to deny the 6.2 Akwa Ibom people access to other funds? Because these are the days, there's no country, no state that can develop on its own without partnering with the outside world. The outside world are trying to say, open your books. Let me see what you're doing. If I see what you're doing, I should be able to support you. Mind you, in a country like this, some of the aids people used to get in those days, in a country like Nigeria, or Africa, or West Africa as a whole, some of the aids that were coming to Africa from the developed world, by the time they want to account for it, almost 90% went into logistics. So those guys got a little bit, disillusioned, and they were reluctant to keep sending aids to Africa. But today we are telling them, look, sorry, you have professionals in governance. You have professionals in politics. We'll show you, we'll open the books, we'll be transparent, we'll be accountable. Just show us, we'll tell you what we've done. And they're happy, they are coming back. So let's go with our people to this promised land that we're in.
Thank you, Excellency, for these explanations. We're going to take a break at this point in time, and when we come back, there's something you've mentioned, and most people may not even understand, professional in politics. In Nigeria, they used to talk about professional politicians. But now you talk about we're going to take a break. I'll define that. Take a look at the difference between a professional in politics and a professional politician. On today's special interview program with His Excellency the Governor of Akwa Ibom, Mr. Udom Emmanuel, a professional in politics, an expert in corporate governance, and from what you can hear, is translating that into the business of governance. Okay, let me inform you that very soon we'll be opening the phone lines. I know a lot of people know that. I've been trying to join His Excellency already.
Right before the program commences.
Before the program commences. And on the social media is being one long traffic. We are on air, we are online, we are on mobile. You can go to the Akwa Ibom official the official pages of the Akwa Ibom government on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, www.akwaibomstate.government.ng, or you can go to www.akwaibomnews.com.ng. Okay, we'll give you the phone line, but in the interest of our listeners on radio, Planet Radio, Atlantic Radio, AKBC Radio, okay, you can only listen to us. So let me give you the number. The number through which you can join us are 0705050791000 or 08163929018. Okay, we take that break when we return. More on this special interview. Please don't go away. Uncle sir, how's it going? Okay. We'll take on the road, come back. Oh no, I'm here for them to do. I can talk for 4 hours. I know. I will go to do. Let them call. Somebody was just congratulations. Don't be afraid to give me water.
I hope we have another jingle to play after this.
Remember, communicate with them to repeat keep on the break.
So you can have your water.
We can continue. They're enjoying my 6 months in office. So I do this in every quarter.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't matter. I can remove the cap at the point so that they will know I'm under fire. Are you ready?
No, we are not.
No, we are not.
Yes, is Sis? Okay? Yes. How belongs on them?
I'm coming around the bend. I'm coming around the bend, but not exactly there, but almost there.
Please, let's see the menu.
Let's see the menu. Come back. You know, I'm studio too. It's good to catch you unprepared so that I can show that it's live. You've not even brought one bottle, you're bringing two. Jesus Christ overwhelming. This thing can even seize my voice. It's so cold. Yes, sir.
It's one time. At the end.
Okay. How many seconds? Okay. Yeah, welcome back. According people, welcome back, Nigerians, wherever you're watching us from, online, on mobile. In the interest of our listeners, I'd like to inform you that this is a special interview program with a professional in politics. His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Akwa Ibom State, a gentleman around who has done so much for Akwa Ibom State in the last 6 months. My name is James Edith, and my colleague on the program is Miriam Oko. Let me also inform our radio listeners that you can join us directly on the program by calling 070-50791-000 or 0816-392-9018. Okay, those are the numbers, and you can also reach us online and on mobile via Akwa Ibom State official Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram handles. www.akwaibomstate.gov.ng or www.akwaibomnews.com.ng. Okay, Miriam, you have an answer?
Exactly. We would like to take His Excellency back to his campaign promises to Akwa Ibom people. I know he's always delighted to talk about that, and if we give him all the time, we could spend 2 hours talking about that relentlessly too. But Your Excellency, we want to narrow down on the focus of your campaign during the electionary period. You talked about industrialization, and that you have commenced. We've seen a series of groundbreakings here and there in Akwa Ibom State. We've seen you go to the paint industry in 18, and you've promised us that it's only a matter of time and products from there will soon begin to grace many homes in Akwa Ibom State. Now, sir, have you taken an assessment of how far you have gone in this area, and what so far has it been?
Thank you, Miriam. Let me start with the paint industry in Etina. When we activated the production there, I promised Akwa Ibom people that that place will not be shut down for 1 hour. If it's shut down, it will be out of what the lawyers call force majeure. It won't be out of poor management. And today, kudos to my Commissioner for Investment, who had worked tirelessly. And at times, we see those with false propaganda coming to tell people that the paint industries in Peacock Paint in Etina is not producing. It's only you don't allow me going here with my phone. I would have shown you a text message. Because the day we opened or recommissioned the factory, somebody booked for 5 million naira worth of paint. He sent me a text within this weekend that it's been fully supplied. Today, the problem with paint industry is not sales, because they can't even meet demand. If you're moving towards the Tropicana, you know, at the junction, before you access the Tropicana or this side going to the airport, you see how this administration is turning that place that was almost turning into a forest. There was a building there that was actually housing, you know, all kinds of hoodlums, was a forest, totally. We are turning that place to one of the best office complexes you can ever think of in this country. Today, every single paint you see on that building is coming out of Peacock Paint. So they can't even meet demand. And as I'm talking to you, the new line, I repeat myself so that people can check, the new line that we're importing is bound to arrive on or before 15th of December. And I promise that new line is what will take us into some of those marine paints. Because today, some of the offshore IOCs use a whole lot of marine paint. And we are going deep right now into the deep sea port. We've advanced seriously. There will be a whole lot of demand of marine paint. We are doing an international jetty through the water channel in Ekorabasi. NPA is working on it. We are doing all kinds of hydrological survey and name it. We are going to get that running with a drought of at least minimum of 9 meters deep. I'm sorry. We are going to need a whole lot of marine paint. And even aside that, the auto paint and then the oil paint, the technology that was installed then, the world had moved far, far ahead of that. So we are bringing new technology into those lines. So today, we are seeing freshness into that place. The reason it seems the product is not flooding the whole market is because on the day of commissioning, we've already pre-booked a lot of production ahead of time. As I'm saying right now, you can imagine the number of square meters if you want to measure that building. For them to produce the meter of that, before they finish that, I'm sure other group would have placed some, some orders. And I want to say here that what God is doing, let me put God first here. What God is doing and is about to do more is even amazing. Let me say something. Some people, I don't listen to some of those rantings. I learned some people went on radio to expose their level of ignorance. And you could actually see some stark illiterates who are trying to dabble into areas that they don't know anything about. Let me explain something. On the industrialization, let me take some of the groundbreaking that we've done. The car manufacturing, the luxury vehicles, and ambulances assembly plant that we did the groundbreaking in it too. When you do a groundbreaking of a factory, is the day the process starts. At that point, the people have the confidence that, look, you've asked us to commence a process. That groundbreaking will now give you the size of the landmass they want. The environmental impact analysis will be done, soil tests, everything will be done. because those are part of things that you will incorporate and send back to the mother company to begin a design of, number one, what will fit your climatic condition, that land, and actually where you're putting it. Because you see, modern technology are a little bit climate sensitive. So that's what it means. That's one. Then number two, like automotive assembly, you have to go to National Automotive Council after that groundbreaking to get your licenses. And you know, these are things that follow processes. So as of today, we've done all those ones. At least the first set of containers for the construction could have arrived as of today, but there was some transshipment through Cotonou. And when we spoke with Israelis and even their Nigerian representatives over the weekend, they say that in a matter of 2 weeks, it should be in the waters of Lagos. And that's how we are missing Egypt Seaport. Because if those things were to birth here in Akwa Ibom, a matter of few days would have been with us. But right now, those things have to go to Lagos because these are heavy containers. And then we now start to look at the haulage system. We have to clear with the customs, do everything, and then do some haulage and bring them here. These things take a whole lot of, processes. We are even very fast based on the analysis. If you check, these are heavy-duty industries. It's not just something it's not commerce. These are heavy-duty assembly plant that are going to do, stainless body of those luxury buses that you see for heavy transportation in Nigeria. So that's one. We are right on course in that one. Move ahead. We did a groundbreaking of a lead factory. I'm sure I've not been to the site, but at least they would have started. Immediately we finished that. We've signed series of agreements, contracts, MOUs. Because you see, lead manufacturing or lead bulbs, are things that is a new invention, and they are coming to manufacture for the Nigerian market. There are so many also things that need to be done, the design and so on. And mind you, that manufacturing is going to take a whole lot in terms of solar energy. They are going to use a whole lot of that solar energy. It is from the date of that groundbreaking that they start assessing the panels that will fit the location of that factory, where they will have enough to actually run the factory and everything. Even as of today, sorry, I couldn't bring my laptop here because you see, this an all-inclusive program. I didn't want to just carry a laptop. I would have shown you where we are. But even today, even in my analysis of the Nigerian market, different outlets that those LED products will reach the market, it's been done. These things are processes. Coming back to the fertilizer blending plant, I didn't just want to set up a fertilizer blending plant that is, generic. The day we did the groundbreaking, we promised our people we want to blend to the soil content and also the kind of crop we want to grow. I gave an example that day. I said, look, if you are, say, in Ona, you're growing cassava, the soil content or the soil test result of Ona could be totally different from what you have in Ibiano. So the blending plant will blend a fertilizer that will be used in Ona to grow cassava, specific for Ona. And as I'm talking to you right now, those American partners are in Nigeria. That's number one. And number two, after the groundbreaking, I also discovered, because you see, we must know how to efficiently utilize our resources. I also discovered that a fertilizer blending plant will not need the whole space and all the assets, the facilities that we gave them. So we now had to come back, reduce the facilities so that I can use the other side of the asset for other factories. So by reducing that now calls for a total redesign of the complex where the plants will fit in and everything. As I said, as I'm talking to you right now, the people are in Nigeria. And mind you, after that groundbreaking, we are working on financing the equipment that will come in from America. These are processes. The question there is, these are not buying and selling. You see, in Nigeria, we are so used to buying and selling. Buying of finished goods. So people just expect you enter one market, buy finished goods, come and display. That's not what we are doing. We are doing real factory manufacturing. And these are processes. And we don't want to do white elephant projects. We want to do projects that will create value for our people. Mind you, I promise our people, every 1 naira I put in any of these companies or factories or industries, I'm holding that wealth in trust for an Akwa Ibom person. I don't want what happened during the telecoms era to happen again. In the telecoms, Akwa Ibom was one of the first states in this country to invest in GSM. And today, look at the share price of that in the world market. And Akwa Ibom lost that completely. I don't want to go into that. I don't want to speak that now. This is where I tell you that the passion to serve the people, the seriousness, let me not use a wrong word, and how sincere you are when you're serving your people will come to play. Akwa Ibom people lost a good chance. If we held those shares then in trust for Akwa Ibom people, today, even if Akwa Ibom person was able to acquire 10 units, 20 units, we would have created value, we would have created wealth. Because certainly the nominal value of those shares at that point in time and what those shares were going for 3-4 years ago can never, you can't compare the value you would have created. I don't want to do that. I want to hold this value for Akwa Ibom people so that in the nearest future, once those industries stabilize, we can now approach Akwa Ibom people through private placement, come and buy, this is your value. This is what belongs to you. We can even determine at that point what's the power value, because we want to create wealth for our people. It's our own. It belongs to all Akwa Ibom people. So at that point, we see how we can create wealth for our people. And I still say this, I stand to be corrected. We are the largest producer of oil today. If from then we started making a move, today we would have seen some Akwa Ibom people who are also doing shipping, who are doing bunkering for crude oil. Yeah. There's no single Akwa Ibom person in the whole country that is doing bunkering of oil. Meanwhile, they are the largest oil producer. No single Akwa Ibom person that is flying a aeroplane out of oil and gas. I mean, we are the largest producer. If you come near my father's compound, all the oil wells around there, no single Akwa Ibom person own one single well. I don't want to play that any longer. So whatever we are putting now, we are creating value for even generations that will come after us. After that, we place the ownership of those things 100% in the hands of Akwa Ibom people. We will have created wealth. And I believe at that point in time, people will see the difference. And that's why we're also very cautious. Every single of these industries, we don't put more than 40% because we don't want to struggle with management. We want to totally differentiate between management and ownership. We allow the professionals to manage so that they can create value for us, but we keep that part of ownership. Because the idea is not just to bring anybody, I'm from this senatorial district. Because of that, I should be in board. I should be the accountant. No, not at all. We allow the management to the experts. Akwa Ibom people that are qualified will be given priorities to work in those places, certainly. But when we don't have the technical expertise because of latest technology in which probably we are not exposed to, we'll import the technology and then we'll do a transfer of that technology to our people. So we'll benefit from both ends. So head or tail, we'll win in all ramifications. So let people follow through the process. As I'm talking to you today, you tune me into industrialization, so you have to give me time. Let me tell you. As of today, I mentioned to Akwa Ibom people that there are 3 gateways to industrialization. Believe me, I was taken aback the day somebody brought a publication by one illiterate in Nation's newspaper, totally published by an illiterate. You could actually see that 3 are counted: air, land, water. In the air today, there is no human being that is reasonable who knows the value for money that will not give us thumbs up when he lands at Akwa Ibom Airport today. There is no how you land at that airport, you won't feel the presence of government in this state. From environmental cleanliness, even look at what we are doing on that taxiway. That taxiway is constructed so that in case of emergency, even a large cargo plane can land. Why? Because we bring it back. Airports can generate a whole lot of revenue. How do we generate revenue for our people? Because you see, leaving an asset that can generate revenue idle without generating assets is a waste. This is what I'm talking about, wealth creation. It's a waste. So what are we doing? Amongst our 3 gateways, we are tackling the whole 3 headlong. That's why you see us working day and night. My accountant general if it's to tell you how much we've committed into that project, because we're doing something of any level of international standard you can think of. Because we expect the 747 cargo should be able to make use of that airport. We also expect our MRO, we are sourcing a whole lot of foreign investors to take over that MRO, because we can't just leave it like that. And we may not have the resources now to complete it 100%. And even if you complete it, at the stage it is, you can only complete it to specification. Right now, you don't know whether it's Bombardier, or whether it's Gulfstream, whether it's Boeing, whether it's Airbus, who will be interested in it. So you can actually go further until you sign and seal who takes over before you now complete that construction. So you could see the taxiway is key. After that taxiway, if you see the design we have for Akwa Ibom Airport, every Akwa Ibom person will be proud to be an Akwa Ibomite, because we make a design. Believe me, it's called a next generation design, and it beats what you can get from any third world country. We are picking what we have in the first world country to put on our soil, because it's a next generation design. It's coming with hotel and conferences facilities and everything. And mind you, it's actually coming even with a cheaper cost. Because you see, some of these things depends on the model that you are adopting. It depends on what you're doing. You see, everything depends on what passion, what sincerity are you bringing into the table. So we are tackling this. So that's one way. And I also, in a drive for industrialization, I discovered the deep sea port could take us another 4 or 5 years to actually actualize, because it's a huge project, especially we want to do transshipment. I discovered something. Akwa Ibom is the largest producer of crude oil and gas today. But do you know downstream market in Akwa Ibom is zero? It's zero. That's why once there's a problem on Calabar-Itu Road, we don't have products here. So what do? We have to start fending for ourselves. We can't just sit down and fold our arms, which is also the Dakkada philosophy. As a governor, I need to show a sign that I cannot fold my arms and wait for federal government to do everything for me. I keep telling people, you can't run government only on experience. You must run government with ideas. That's what makes the difference. So what are we into now? We approach NPA that we have a water channel. Mind you, when they cited ASCON in Electoral, one of the major attractions was that water channel. Today ASCON is not running. Do we leave such an asset idle? You know, water is asset. So what we are doing today is we've approached NPA that please approve for us to have an international jetty in Electoral, separate from the deep sea port, so that we cannot do both downstream logistics, upstream, everything in the deep sea, and also do transshipment. We choke that deep sea port. So we are going to separate. And down here in Ekorabasi, we bring the downstream market to Ekorabasi. Some of the smaller vessels that can actually, bring up some industries that will bring few things there, we use that water channel. And that water channel will give us about 9 meters drought. And a vessel that can actually use 9 meters are medium-sized vessels, actually, can use it. So that's where we are today. We are doing some surveys right now. Actually, what is slowing us down is because we needed to pay some money, but we are moving ahead. Just last Monday, I had a meeting with some of the investors who had shown interest to partner with us. And in the next 1 or 2 weeks, we are going to also talk to one of the major shipping agencies and logistic providers in the Asian market to actually see this is what we have. How can we partner? Yesterday, I had a meeting with one of the IOCs. Can you have another logistic hub here? Because that water, here is rivers, here is Akwa Ibom, is so strategically located, that Ekorabasi water channel, that can give us that. These are indeed, key inroads into industrialization. You can also see, even though we don't have money, every single road we construct in Akwa Ibom today, I can tell you the economic value of that road. I can link everywhere. The day I did the groundbreaking to link the East-West Road through Oron into Uyo, I tell people, I say, look, once the deep sea port starts, people coming out of deep sea port, either you go to the East-West Road and go towards Port Harcourt, Ekorabasi, or you turn left and then come through Oron into Uyo, into the city, and then probably move to Calabar or Aba, as the case may be. And that's why also, once we do that, we try to open up more more ring roads, so that they can actually, divert from the city and then get to where they are going to. Every single one of them is a network of what they are planning economically to actually launch us into the rest of the world. So many others. As I'm seated here right now, we are ready for a groundbreaking ceremony for meter assembly plant. Why is that so?
Where is that going to be located?
It's going to be located in Una.
Okay.
Meter assembly plant. Why are we coming to that? I'm telling you today, electricity, power, is going to at least be more than 10 times the size of what we are getting in telecoms. Yeah. I don't want us to be left out. Just today, 200 Akwa Ibomites. Our youths have left for training, for 1 year training in power. They will go through generation, transmission, and distribution. And we've lost several chances of this over time. Other states have taken their slots. We didn't take it. We were actually late. So it took us, with God bless the people at the Training Institute in Abuja, who decided to accommodate us, because we never featured even once. This is the first time.
So this is a
federal government project, but in partnership with the state government.
Okay.
So as you're sending 200, federal government will sponsor 100, you sponsor 100. Okay. But you must first of all put forward your own. Once you put forward, then 200 people are going. These are people that will come and take over the power sector. And this is where we're going to. That brings us to why we need that meter factory. Because you see, if you see the consumption of meter, the distribution companies, all the discos today are coming up to say that, look, gone are the days where we use rule of thumb or come and use an estimate to bill you. Nigeria is progressing. We are going to do the assembly plant here, which can feed the entire of the south side and the southeast with meters. Meters that the same way you load your phone, you can actually buy the power, key in the numbers, and then automatically will load the energy for you. Yeah. So that is starting. And also other consumption, other things that we need. Yeah. Between Electoral and Udom. Don't cut me short, I'm talking to a quarter people. Power consumption is a whole lot of civil works. So the concrete factory there will also take care of the civil works of power. We want to take the first step ahead to make sure we actually have this for our people. Because you see, this will generate employment, will consolidate on the gains we'll have in the power sector. Yeah. Since you're eager for me to stop here, let me pause. I'm not stopping, let me pause. I want to take a follow-up. Excellency, I know you are very passionate. Let me pause because you see, if I want to discuss industrialization for you, more than 24 hours. We have enough time.
The Excellency, we are very passionate about this, and I assure you, the people of this that are so appreciative about these gestures you've done. And we know that another area we are very passionate about is power sector. Maybe people can appreciate the fact that power has got to play a very important role in your drive for the industrialization of the state. Most people will not know, but I did a little research before we came on this program. I've discovered that you've been able to expand the IPP from 199 megawatts to 91 to 685. Am I correct? Sure. Now, with that development, can I say that you've achieved your vision of giving to our current people 20 hours, at least 20 hours of power supply? If not, what are the challenges in that sector, and how soon should the people expect that this can happen?
Believe me, if we go at the speed that we are going today, within a short period, we should be able to make Aquarium people smile better. Today, on a very conservative estimate, 70% of Aquarium people will agree with you that there have been tremendous improvement in terms of power supply.
Can you say that in your area?
Very well.
70%. And those who are not experiencing that, few things, as of today, we generate enough to go around Aquarium. I repeat it, we've generated enough. Few problems. Vandalism is key. A lot of transformers you see in some villages are running without the oil. So once you go and drain that oil to go and sell in the neighboring state, 2-3 days the transformer will blow and everything will get burnt. And it takes us time to go about, replacing this. That's number one. Number two, we've noticed that most of the distribution cables, separators and so on, that were used in some other areas were not of high quality. So that's why even within Uyo Metropolis, there was a time we had to shut down, I think towards towards Oran Road, towards the airport side. We had to shut down, power outage there was almost 4 days because we needed to re-energize the cabling system in that area to actually stand the load that we are putting. And if you check, before now, if it rains, the power will go off automatically because of the quality of the cables that we're running. Today we are trying to make sure we re-energize this to get it work better. But in terms of generation, we are doing excellent. And once we get through, then 2 other sub-injection stations are coming up. At 4 lanes, we are going to do an injection station. We are still discussing with the community about land, but we've already made deposit as a government to kickstart that. We are not waiting for the distribution company or PHEDC to come and do that for us. If you wait for them, your people will not enjoy it. Yeah. And we want to build a place where small and medium-scale enterprises can thrive. Somebody who wants to run a barbering shop does not need to make all the money and use it to buy fuel or maintain a generating set. That's what we are building up. So within that area, we are trying to put an injection station there. There was service the Osama, Iduran, and that area, and make sure we have stable. People are living in the other side of a housing. Can tell you they have good quality electricity supply now and very steady. And so many other villages that we've been able to actually put some of those cables together. And let it be put on record here. Okobo did not have light for a very long period. I still have the letter in my office. They had to write thanking us because the day we went for the groundbreaking of the road that will pass through Okobo into Uyo and into Oron, they complained that they've not had light for several years. I stood there and promised them that this is not rocket science. I get it fixed. Today, I fixed them up. The few challenges that we are having, which is not within our control, is transmission. Yeah. You know, transmission is in the exclusive list of the federal government. We can do little or nothing there. Federal government must do a lot in terms of transmission and then the NIPP that they are running. They were in discussion with them. If they can complete just a few lines linking, between that, the one that comes from Oloji, Ikorekben with the one in Ekparakwa, and link us again, and then we envelope from, Ikorekben, Ikorobasi into Eket, Oran back to UT2, and then link up Ikorekben again. We have enveloped the whole state. In that case, we'll come up as one of the best. The area that we are going to enter by first quarter of next year, because it wasn't in this year's budget. Do you believe there are some areas, for example, in local government, there's an area they call Nkari Clan. They've not seen light since the creation of Akwa Ibom State. Even as SSG, it took, the intervention of the immediate past governor for part of INI, where you have the, I don't know, is it Benkom coincide and so on, to actually be linked to the national grid. And today, we've done a survey. We want to take it up to Nkari Clan because we are believing that we cannot, you see, if you look at one of our key points during our campaign, we say we want an all-inclusive government. So the basic things that people should enjoy in life, we want to take it down to the people. So we are so passionate about power. Then coming back to generation, we're running on 191. I had to go for a license to increase it to 685. And that license is a whole lot of assets for Akwa Ibom people. Because one thing about power is, whatsoever you generate, you can actually sell. Because in Nigeria today, it is not generated enough. A country is still talking about generation capacity of about 5,000 to 6,000. Whereas we need up to 25,000 to 30,000 in Nigeria. So whatsoever you generate, you can easily sell. This is one area in which we are holding wealth. We believe we can actually even call for other core investors, come and partner with us and build more turbines that can actually take up that capacity. And at the same time, we also hope the transmission company of Nigeria will give us a line that can actually offload, and the way we can actually sell out the powers that we will generate, and also be able to take it off to the transmission line. But be that as it may, let me tell you something that will attract investors. A lot of people did not know that the IPP in Ikorobasi, those plants, the trends are about 3. Only one was working. The other 2 were not working at all. As of today, within the first 6 months in office, we've started the second trend. And as I'm talking to you right now, we're on a test run of 40 megawatts. So what are we trying to do here? Even if we don't have transmission lines to evacuate the 40 megawatts. What we will do is to actually inject some money. We need some money there to buy a 132 kV transformer, where we can take the 40 that we're actually generating and give to neighboring local government areas where they can have like 24/7. In that case, Ikorob as in Barani, Nismo Bolo, and probably Onak can benefit. Above all, the international jetty will evacuate that straight to international jetty and make sure the international jetty have light 24/7 so that it can actually attract investors into that area, because we don't want people to start wondering how will they generate power. Mind you, international jetty needs a lot of power. So that's what we are going to do with the second turbine. We are trying to actually see how we can raise money anywhere so we can actually put up that transformer so that light can be steady in some of the local government where we can easily evacuate that. In that case, we don't need transmission line to evacuate that, and that will also really help in terms of power. I can go on and on and on and on with the blueprint that we have in power. Power is one area. As at the time we were campaigning, I had the entire state with all the connections and where we are supposed to have the separators and so on, and all the major stations that we needed to work on in our laptop, and we are following it seriously. And mind you also, as of today, when you hear people speak, people are actually working. I had to go to transmission company of Nigeria. There's an Akwaibomite who is there, who was an AGM in transmission. I had to go and talk for them to release the guy to come and be my SA power. Because you see, we try to put a round peg in a round hole. I can't bring somebody with a philosophy to come and be SA power. This guy is one of the best engineers in TCN today. He's the SA power. He was an AGM. He's working tirelessly. A lot of communities are actually experiencing this, and all we need is, once we have a little bit of money and inject more money into this, we should be moving towards our promised land in terms of power.
Your Excellency, I hope you don't mind talking with your people now.
Oh, sure.
Okay, I know a lot of people have been trying to choose these powers 1 hour, 30 minutes. So we have the opportunity, okay, by 1 hour, 20 minutes, and the next 40 minutes, the phone lines are going to be open. His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kwara State, Mr. Udom Emmanuel, is all yours for all the questions you had wanted to ask. Okay, we're going to soon take your phone calls now. So get ready. The number again is 07050791000 and 08163929018. Okay, we'll take a short break in a JV. Get your phone line set. When we come back in the next 10 seconds, Your Excellency, His Excellency will be all yours for all the questions of the day. Please stay tuned.
This is not.
Yes, okay. We're going to.
2 hours can't even be enough.
Your Excellency, your voice on this matter, sir.
We've not even entered the other area. Sports development, education.
Okay. Well.
You can't cover anything. Okay. There's so many things we can't cover. You're still trying to announce me the issue. Okay. But this one they say I'm building a house.
No, I'll keep it back. Yes.
So that I don't want somebody who ran the natural election cannot afford a 4-bedroom bungalow.
Okay. Allow them call. Yes, I like each time I see those 5 fingers like every other person, I raise mine to say, no, Dakkada. What am I about you? I'm always from Dakkada. Yes, Excellency. We feel it is Excellency. I get the they say, no, Dakkada. Okay, let Akwa people now Dakkada and ask their governor all the questions that have in mind. We have the first caller. If you're calling us, if you're joining us, if you want to join us, and you should please tone down the volume of your TV set. You must tone down the volume of your TV set. Hello, good evening, sorry. Hello? 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 We seem to be having some technical problems here. I know there are a lot of people who are trying to join us. Hello, good evening. Hello? Hello, good evening. Hello?
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. My name is James. You're on to this special interview program with His Excellency the Governor. Please, what's your name and where are you come from?
My name is Udom Emmanuel.
Your name is
I'm coming from Udom.
Welcome to the program. Okay, let's have your question.
My Excellency, sir.
Good evening, Udom. How about you?
Excellency,
okay.
Excellency, I thank you for spending your time to come on today's program.
Thank you.
To emphasize the quality of what we have for them.
Thank you.
But I see you are so passionate about the developmental project of this state, especially the industrialization program. I have 2 issues that borders with the primary school teachers.
Okay.
The first one is, for some time now, that from 2012 to 2014, the primary school teachers have not prepared their main ground. And what is your government doing about that, sir? And the next one is the contributed pension. Some of them will pay half of the contributed pension. So I want to know, what are you doing about that, sir? Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks for calling. You want to take that?
Yeah, sure. Let me tell you so I don't forget.
Yeah.
Let me start with the contributory pension. Before the immediate past head of service left office, this is one area I call for proper reconciliation. And she approached me, she told me as at that time they've paid over 26,000 primary school teachers. Mind you, this wasn't, it was a reform of contribution. So let's get it right. So if you did not contribute, don't expect a reform. It was a reform of those who joined the scheme.
Yeah.
So people must get that right, because it seems people who did not even join the scheme are even those ones making more noise about it. Let Akwa people understand that reform was for those that joined the scheme. If you did not join the scheme, you could not have benefited. The immediate past head of service gave me a schedule where primary school teachers, over 26,000 of them, were refunded. So I'm taking that to be that all those who joined the scheme must have been refunded. But as a responsive governor, I leave room for a margin of error. If there are certain mistakes or errors that could have been there, let those people pass through their relevant agency to let us have those people. Mind you, as of today, you must go through biometrics proof before we can take an action on it. I try to let people know this. That's number one. On the leave grant, when I was SSG, the issue of leave grant for primary school teachers came up. Please, Akwa people, permit me to say something here. Primary school, the responsibility of primary school still rests on the federal government. The responsibility of primary school still rests on the federal government through the universal basic education system. Whatsoever the state government have been doing and is still doing as of today is an intervention. It's an intervention. So today, if you have a leave grant, I can only sit back with another arm of government. Mind you, we run a unitary system in Nigeria, and there are 3 tiers of government: the federal, the state, and the local government. So the federal government passes that responsibility through the local government that should take care of this. But I remember when this issue came up when I was secretary to the state government. That's how we managed to support the scheme, and then I think 2014 or so, either 2013 or 2014, I was paid. I cannot get exactly which year, but I know we paid the most recent. For 2013 and 2012, as you rightly mentioned, please still allow me a little bit of chance. Let me talk to the Udom chairman, also talk to the commissioner for local government, and then see how we can actually come up with it. And let me use that platform to also say here that please let there be a correction of this notion that the 3 tiers of government share the statutory allocation. So what the state government does as of today, we are only supporting. I wish the program allowed the commissioner for local government to be here or the accountant general. We still support the local government. That's why today you are talking about only leave grants. You are not even talking about salaries. If as a state government we were not supporting the local government, they would have even been able to pay the salaries of local government employees and teachers, because they are still getting support from the state government. Mind you, we have to come back to the numbers. Local governments before now, when the oil prices were good, the local government administration used to get up to 5 or 6 billion naira a month. Today, local government administration gets on the average about 2.3 billion. The salary of primary school teachers alone is about 2.3 billion. So you can see that what they get cannot even pay the salaries of teachers and pay the salary of local government employees. So what they are enjoying today is actually what the state government is offering, a hand of help, so that there could be peace and everybody could be touched, because we are running all-inclusive government. The revenue that is coming from the center had dropped drastically for both state, federal, and state government. So let's get this right, because what the local government administration is getting today, I will hear people saying that, oh, the government has not given anything to local government. If we allow local government to run the way the allocation will be running, believe me, more than 2/3 of local government areas will be going with negative. And primary school teachers will not be paid, local government employees will not be paid. If we don't come as a matter of help, you have a governor. I have never sat at JAP meeting. I have never prognosed into the administration of local government finances. All I do is to make sure I help out, so that at least, at the very least, let us not run like other places I hear that primary school teachers have not been paid for several months. I ensure we come up to render that help. Primary school teachers are paid their salaries up to date, and also local government employees. But let me also use this platform to say here that as we progress, I also notice some inefficiencies in the system. So let me sound a note of warning. If somebody is there perpetrating himself as a ghost worker, this is the time for you to drop out. If we carry out a biometric exercise, which I'm commencing right now with the BVN, and then we discover anybody who had actually prompted himself and be collecting money that does not belong to him, I will try that person and I will jail that person. Same thing goes for people, the pensioners, and even people who are enjoying gratuity. We are going through biometric system. The kind of biometric system I'm running, you cannot escape it, because you must go to the bank and do a BVN. And I'm going to link the software we are using with the BVN software that is at NIPS, Nigeria Interbank Settlement System. So you cannot lie. And if we catch you, we'll prosecute you. So please, if you belong to those people or any of the MDS that perpetrate this issue, please let there be a stop, because I cannot allow that to continue. But for today, let that notion be corrected. What we are doing today as a state government, we are trying to render help so that our local government can be able to pay salaries. When you hear somebody complaining, oh, governor isn't paying our local government, governor is also running at 20% of what it used to be when things were good. I'm not running on a party 20% of that. So even with that, we are making a whole lot of sacrifices. I am one governor today in Nigeria. For 6 months, I'm still driving my personal car. For 6 months, I'm still living in my personal house because I don't want the meager resources for issue of renovating of lodge and so on for the government to move in to be an issue. Even with that, I'm ready to move in and just stay like that without any renovation so that the paltry resources that we have should go around the 6.2 million people. I'm just one of those governors. For 6 months, I've been on my private vehicle and it's never bothered me. So when people say some of this is government, it's not going to local government. Governor is making a whole lot of sacrifices to even make sure primary school teachers, local government employees go home with salaries. I'm sure our ears on the ground. There are so many state governments today. 7 months, 6 months, 5 months, they've not paid salaries. But here we are. We try to make sure we meet up those obligations as and when due. So please bear with us. The issue of leave grant of 2012 and 2013. We'll look into it. Believe me, I promise you we'll look into it. And we'll try and see what will come out of it. And whatsoever we can get out of it, I'll discuss with the labor leaders and then we see a way forward. At times, some of these things could be deferred for a little while, but let's see how it goes. But few basic things that we must meet will continue to support the local government. Whenever somebody comes to talk to you, that look, local government, I was a member of the local government, tell the local government that even that 2, 3, 4 million is saying is after payment of salaries of local government employees and teachers. So that one is just like an interest for him to run the place after payment of all salaries. It is a whole lot of sacrifice from the state government to get these things running.
Yes, so let's correct that impression. What is the important corner I'd like us to take this place all the way from South Africa? Okay. I see that people are full. I hope we can take this one. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Let's put you on the speaker. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Thank you, my brother.
Can you tell us your name and exactly where you are calling from in South Africa?
My name is I'm calling from South Africa. In South Africa.
Okay, and I call them indigenous South Africa. Your Excellency, you said a text, and I've confirmed this from South Africa. Personally, met this person before. Okay, let's have a question for His Excellency.
Congratulations, are you hearing this?
Yes, I do. He's hearing you.
Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. I'm hearing you.
Very much. Here in South Africa, we can see you. We appreciate what you're doing, and I want to congratulate you once more for making this 6 months in office.
Thank you.
I want to also ask His Excellency on what are the plans, because I know the past administration and even the current one is very active with the Diaspora group in the US and also in Europe. But I don't know how if South Africa is being forgotten. I would like His Excellency to keep those in mind because I've heard also as well the specialist hospital, a lot of obstetrics doctors are involved. We have more than 50 to 100 apart from individuals that are specialized doctors here in South Africa.
Correct.
Is there any plans involved that would bring appointments in South Africa to help in developing the states? Those are my questions. His Excellency, I also want to, I know you mentioned that these teachers will be concerned with the targeting of the federal government.
Yeah.
Please, I know my mom has not also collected our pension. She left her work. So please can you do a couple of that? Thanks so much.
No, we are paying pension. We are paying pension. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Kingsley, please, can you, what platform are you watching? What platform are you using to watch this program?
I'm online. I'm watching on stream. I actually follow the governor online. So when I saw it, I've been watching it.
Thank you very much. Excellency, I just have to do that because so many people you are so popular within the global community. You need to follow what is happening. And kudos to the Minister of Information for doing this wonderful job. All over, from America, from Europe, so many text messages. People, most of them are commending you for doing a very good job.
I want to thank Minister of Information and Communication for, making people join us online. But John, let me say something here. I was in this same studio when I was campaigning. And I told the people of Akwa Ibom that what makes the difference is somebody's email must be put in the global sphere, and it should be a recognized email.
Yeah.
And I think that's the email of Udom Emmanuel, who is seated here as a governor. Coming back to Kingsley, Diaspora in South Africa is so well recognized. But permit me to say here that as a governor, it is a little bit impracticable for me to attend all the summits all over the globe. But let us know your next summit. If I cannot make it, a very high-level person in government should be able to represent the governor. The deputy governor is interested in coming. The SSG could make it, or we can even send the dean of commissioners or even head of service if the governor cannot make it. So please identify with us. We have already identified with you. Is South African people who are not identifying with us. So let them identify with us, because UK invites us, Germany, Canada, United States, they invite us, but we've never gotten an invite from South Africa. Okay. So I expect your invite. Coming back to discuss about the specialist hospital. Kingsley, if you check, we just opened up the hospital 1 week ago. Let me use this platform to inform Akwa Ibom people that even at the time I was a governor-elect, I analyzed and dissected the health sector, from the primary to the secondary to the tertiary to the quaternary hospital. And the quaternary hospital that we have today, I told the team of editors that interviewed me on it, I said, look, you can imagine when I put Akwa Ibom State University College of Medicine to be learning from a quaternary platform, not a tertiary platform that their colleagues all over the country are learning from. Where would that place them? That's number one. Then number two, coming back specifically to your questions, we just started operation. There are a lot of Nigerians who are joining them. The first batch of the foreigners that are coming, we are in partnership with the Al Qaeda group of both America and United Arab Emirates. We are taking on a lot of Nigerians. I remember when last we visited UAs on a Akwa Ibom State summit. There were some nurses who expressed their interest. We've gotten their CVs. We're actually passing this on to the hospital management. We are not actually picking only people of foreign nationals. We are interested in a lot of Akwa Ibom people. So please, if you are an Akwa Ibom person, a specialist, resident anywhere in the world, and you believe you possess the requisite skills, and quaternary hospital does not only run on skills and machines, it runs on attitude. So that you don't come and you give us an attitude where a patient is almost dying. You're telling us you're going for a traditional marriage of your cousin. Because you see, we will not have that second chance of creating the first impression of this hospital to the whole world. So we want to create an impression that we're running a professional hospital. We want to curtail medical, exports. Yeah. And then bring in a whole lot in terms of medical tourism into Akwa Ibom. So the bedside manners of the nurses matter a whole lot at this point in time. The attitude of the workers is not just the skills and the machine that make up hospital. The attitude of the workers go a long way to determine, because those bedside manners can actually find the level of succor to somebody who is in pains and actually be able to make sure that the drugs work effectively. These are some of the things that we're also trying to look at. We don't also want to bring, just want to, be a little bit sentimental by bringing somebody from my village who will just come. The next minute he has the skills, he has seen the machine, but believe me, while somebody is screaming, we have an emergency. The guy is telling you that, look, I have to attend one burial in my village, and the person will just be there dying. We are seeing this a whole lot happening in so many public hospitals, which is what we are trying to curtail. I took time the other time, I'm not on for that today, to actually show my annoyance over the tertiary hospital that we have here in Uyo. And I didn't hide it from the entire world that I wasn't happy about it. We are taking steps to correct some of those things. Yeah. So the quaternary hospital, we will not tolerate any discipline. So where we are starting from, if you are an Akwa Ibom person, you believe you can key into the right attitude the passion to serve your people. And at the same time, our salaries will also be very competitive. So you're welcome, because it's 100% profit venture business. Yeah. Medical business is a huge business all over the world. Unfortunately, as of today, our medical insurance scheme is yet to actually be impactful, but we can't help it. We must save lives. So we are passionate about how that hospital is kicking off. As at yesterday when I checked, they've done 107 treatments in that hospital. Some of them very complicated treatments, extremely complicated. 107, and we opened within the first 2 weeks. To the public, heavily subsidized by the government, just open house for everybody. Very soon, we'll start the business. Okay. That was just a teaser for people just to enjoy the free services. So I just opened that within the first 2 weeks as a gesture for our Akwa Ibom people. I know it's not sweet to be sick, but if you're sick, it is my duty. Every single life of our Akwa Ibom person is as important as the life of a governor. Yeah. And I wouldn't let that person go. Okay. We still have... Hello? Hello, good evening. Please, if you're calling us into the program, please turn down the volume of your TV set. Hello, good evening. Hello? 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 Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. I know people are saying, when you call and we pick your call, don't be overexcited. The government is here live. I know so many people want to get to His Excellency. So please, when you call in, turn down the volume of your TV set and then fire your question. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Okay, maybe we can take these statements now. Okay, this statement says, Your Excellency, with respect, please, what is the fate of the newly employed civil servant as regards their salary payment? That's from Kukete. I would like to take that question. Thank you for that question. Somebody is sending a text here asking about the plight of the civil servants who have been employed. I won't say so much on camera, but how I wish the head of service was here. As of today, I forgot to bring that letter. In a simple manner, what we have seen that transpired in some of the recruitments, we need to correct certain things. We even we got across a letter that a fraudster had actually been forging the signatures of both the establishment and Civil Service Commission and giving people fake employment letters. There are a lot of fake employment letters. There is a young man who had actually been, he's been apprehended. He was busy doing that and collecting money from people with fake letter. And I think the surname of this young man tallied with he used a surname that people could fall a victim, thinking was a relation of the former head of service, because the surname there is Udom also. Collecting money from people and issuing fake offer letters. Please let me tell Akwa Ibom people, anybody who is carrying a fake offer letter that does not tally with the records, you see, there's a check and we have some checks and balances, because your records flow from the civil service to the establishment, and we check through the due process to ensure that those things were duly followed. If you are falling a victim of those fake offer letters, it's a pity. There's nothing the governor can do in this regard. We would ignore it. But if you have been genuinely hired and it's genuine, it's authentic, it's original, allow us finish with the reconciliation. Please, we are going through the reconciliation of the nominal role, because what the immediate past governor approved, we need to reconcile that with the numbers that we have. When the numbers are more than his approval, we need to check those who are carrying fake offer letters. But believe me, we have a whole lot of fake offer letters in the market. And I'm sure those who are making this noise, so many of them are carrying the same fake offer letters. I pity them, because some of them actually collected money. Paid money to get fake offer letters. And with those fake offer letters, your governor cannot help you. Sorry, we must sanitize that and we are carrying out reconciliation. Once we finish reconciliation, all those who were genuinely hired, all of them will be paid. But please just give us a little time to actually finish that up. I actually set up an ESCO committee to look into this, and we can actually implement this in phases. Those that we've cleared, we'll payroll them as we go on clearing more people. But mind you, it didn't start today. Even in the Bible, they say when people were going to plant wheat, Satan went and planted tares. So there are some tares in that recruitment process, and I need to sift them out. Sorry, I will sift them out. Let's give the process a chance to get that done.
Okay. Okay, Your Excellency, we've been told we need to go on break, but I think we should take some of these questions before we actually go. We have less than 15-20 minutes to go on the program.
So you don't know it might be important for you to inform people that these are the questions from the social media platform.
Exactly. This is from Udom Patrick on Twitter. He says, Your Excellency, I think we should have this media chat quarterly instead of 6 months. It has been down to earth exposition and completely fulfilling, coming from our governor himself. Kudos, sir.
Thank you.
The next one is from Kennedy Okon on Twitter too. I learned we owe a lot of loans. Is this true? We'll take the next one from Julia.
You want me to answer those two? Quickly. Quickly, the person asking for quarterly briefing, I do that every quarter. And one governor, I don't miss it. Yeah. Since I took over, I've done 2 briefings. I've even done, full media briefing at the banquet hall, briefing people about the activities of the government, because I know the 2 hours given to me by James and Miriam cannot be enough, even to explain my industrialization policy. Mind you, I've not even talked about education. I've not talked about health. I've not talked about so many other areas because there's no time. So I do this quarterly briefing. Then coming back to what was the second?
I learned we owe a lot of loans. Is this
sorry, in government, that's what we call the right to know. And today, as I'm sitting here, the immediate past governor, when we had the last town hall meeting, told the whole world what we were owing. And I believe, based on that, there's no corporate body that runs the management account on the pages of newspaper. This is what we call management account, this is what we call published account. Let these people just give us time. When it's time for us to publish the financials of the state government, we'll publish that. In management, you don't run your management account on the pages of newspaper. That's why they call it management account. Yeah. The information is asking for, the principles of the doctrine of right to know in public service cannot actually permit that here now. Okay. But once we put up our financials, I promise that when people I'll be as transparent as practicable. Yeah. Every 1 naira I've collected, I will account for it to the last 1 naira. And I'll put the accounts in the pages of papers when time comes. Okay. So give us that time. I've not even done 1 year yet. Once I do 1 year, I'll put up my 1 year of stewardship in the pages of newspaper. You'll see what we've done. Okay. But believe me, your 1 naira is in safe hands.
All right. This is from Julius Epe in Texas, USA. Your Excellency, you talked about refineries as part of your industrialization plan. Is this still on the card?
Seriously on the card. If you're going towards AKD Road, you check we are clearing the site. There's a refinery that's supposed to come in from the United States of America. Today, in terms of documentation and approvals, we've gotten over 95% of approvals. Private refinery is something that's just coming up. We are taking the initiative. State government will also invest in it as well because we know there's a market for this white product. And also, because of what we are doing at our airport, we want to create a hub in Akwa Ibom. So, refinery will be very key because of Jet A1. So, we'll make this a hub once we finish, because once you have an MRO, you must have a fuel dump. Because somebody who is coming to repair his aircraft will first of all empty the tank. Once he finishes emptying the tank, he must fill up the tank again. Okay. So very soon we'll engage people to do dump sites at the airport, and refinery will come handy when they start manufacturing. So there's actually, we have more than 2 who have expressed interest, they have the money, but today we are running with one that is 100,000 barrels per day. We've cleared the site, we'll soon do groundbreaking.
Your Excellency, I wish you had all the time in the world. I'm personally also disappointed that 2 hours is not enough. Nilan said earlier that there's a question. He said if I have the opportunity to ask the governor, I ask this opportunity. Ask. I listen to radio often these. All kind of things people say about His Excellency Udom Emmanuel. Number one, sir, how do you put up with this spate of blackmail and propaganda inherent in politics? For instance, you wake up in the morning to hear that your state governor is building a brand new house in his village. You wake up to hear that the governor is speaking 10 billion a month for security and all kind of things. How do you cope with this?
Thank you, James. Let me use this to once more talk about this issue of house and a village. People who are from my area, they know that I'm from a very, modest background. Let me put it that way. My father's foundation, that was one of the best houses in those days. That foundation came up since 1953-54. And if you go to that foundation today, there is only a renovation that is on top of it. The noise people are making about, the question is, as at the time some of us built one of the best houses in Ewed housing, how many houses could be compatible to our own? But a few things, James. Look at somebody of my own stature in life. I was already sitting in the board of companies, profit-making companies, at the age of 35. At the age of 40, I was already sitting in the board of 12 corporate bodies, including a group. And let me say here, there's nobody of my own level at that point, having run that as at even the time, at the age of 40, I was in a board of a group of one of the best banks on planet Earth. And there's nobody at that level that will go on with a salary less than $1 million per annum. And coming to check, at that point in time, even at that level, even when we were sitting in board of companies, we built some of the best houses in a housing then. We were not in government. Yeah. My father's compound had been one of the most outstanding in my village by our standard. In a country of a blind and eyed man, he's a king. It's been of that standard. I wasn't in government. My father wasn't in government. I came up, as at the day I did my inauguration, the hall that they are showing the photograph to everybody, that is the same hall I used on the date of my inauguration to receive people. The 4-bedroom house, somebody of my own level cannot afford a 4-bedroom expansion in my father's compound. It's an expansion to my father's compound. And mind you, the same set of people, if I didn't expand my father's compound so that when my supporters come, they have way to stand, they would have said, what the stingy man, with all the money he earned in the financial services. This the man for 9 years. I was in charge of investors' relations in this country for good 9 years. I was in charge of all foreign subsidiaries for good 6 years. So, is building a 4-bedroom house such a big deal for somebody who had been so exposed to all this life? And it's the same thing. Let's also first fact here. This is somebody seated here. When I was doing my pre-election consultation, the amount of money you spent, even what you go around when you're doing your pre-election consultation, where did you get it? I'm one person that when I contested, you bring money, I said, I didn't want your money. So if somebody could stand a gubernatorial election successfully, pre-election, election, post-election, is it to build a 4-bedroom house expansion in his father's compound that he needs government money? Let me restate to our Kwabon people. Let us not listen to all this satanic propaganda. I say ignorance is a disease. It is the worst thing that can happen. If you see those people who are sitting on the radio to chant those rant and rant and rant, they have failed their generations. They are a total failure. Most of them cannot feed their families. Pause and ask them, how many of you, what have you done since you were born? Most of them are 50 and above. For over 50 years, some of them can never boast of ever managing a kiosk. So what have they done in life? When you see people who through God's grace and also personal sacrifices have actually risen to the peak of the whole world, you can't bring those people down. So some of them are just ranting. They are failures. They fail humanity, they fail their family. So the only way they can vent is to come to the radio and insult a governor. To do a 4-bedroom house in a village doesn't cost anything. A governor that is so exposed to economies of the whole world will not put a reasonable amount of money in the village. If I have so much money, I have New York Stock Exchange to invest my money and make good return. I have Nigerian Stock Exchange to invest my money and make good return. I have the money market in Nigeria to invest my money and make good return. Building a house in the village is not an investment. So nobody of my own exposure will do that in the whole world. So let people know somebody who contested the gubernatorial election and won to do a 4-bedroom expansion of his father's compound is not an issue. And outside that, we started this long before election. The hall is the hall we use on the day of inauguration as a reception. So let nobody make mistake. The governor that we have in Akwa Ibom State doesn't need 1 naira from the state government. So I thank you for that question. And I hope you put ways to all those nonsense. And when you see all those illiterates coming up on radio, you can turn off your radio at a while. Because you see, you don't allow them to corrupt good minds of people who are rising to the fate of greatness.
Yes, I want to thank you very much for joining us. The program, I want to thank Akwa Ibom listeners, those in Nigeria, and even abroad who tune into the program. Unfortunately, I may not be afraid to take all the questions. Like His Excellency said, I'm very sure for a long time we'll have this other opportunity, another opportunity for the program. Thank you for your Excellency. It was quite instructive, quite enlightening. Miriam?
Yeah, it's been fun for me hearing all of that straight from the horse's mouth.
Yes. Thank you very much. Okay. Bye-bye from all of us. Continue to enjoy all the programs from any of the radio stations or television stations through which I watch this program. My name is James on behalf of Miriam, and on behalf of His Excellency from Planet FM, Atlantic Radio, NTO, AKBC, Online Sources, the Commissioner for Information, in fact the entire team here. I thank you for staying tuned to the program.
We'll give you a chance to thank the Akwa Ibom people.
Okay, Excellency.
I, your governor, am here to serve you passionately. I want to use this platform to thank all Akwa Ibom people who have stood by us, who are still standing by us, who are still supporting us. Be rest assured, you have somebody who is thinking of the next generation and not the next election. I'll do everything within my reach to make sure we rise to our greatness and we realize our full potential. I thank Akwa Ibom people. God bless Akwa Ibom. And every single cause on Akwa Ibom, either the seat of government or the people, I use this platform today. And with the anointing upon me, I pray over this state that such causes have been removed. Amen. And God bless Akwa Ibom, God bless Nigeria, God bless the people of Akwa Ibom. Thank you so very much. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
So much. Bye. It's not, that's a lesson. Thank you. That man says he's the secretary of Akwa Ibom. If they invite us, I send text message
at 10 minutes in a time from Abuja network because they're going to join. So they're trying to get us off.
Okay.
I was trying to extend it, so they were pushing from Abuja that people must come down.
Did they join us?
No, they were online.
They wanted them to link.
No, they want the time. They want to go to network program. Yes, my brother.
This place is warm.
Thank you. Thank you.
The CPS. Dakkada.
You come to the very. $1 million for AKBC. Okay. So, Miriam.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you don't use the studio and go like that.
That's very true.
Yeah, you got something for NTA, got something for AKB.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay.